Hello and welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the vlog, welcome back to the car, welcome back to Cornwall. It is 17 degrees Celsius, it is overcast and it is relatively cool today. Yesterday was only 22 degrees Celsius but very high humidity, so it felt suffocating all day. It was very warm and you just couldn't cool off. There was a breeze, but like I said, 100% humidity, you ain't cooling off, old bean. And I know that's not as hot as it has been in the United States or anywhere else that happens to have a large landmass and a lot of sun, but I mean, we're on an island. Humidity is something we have to deal with. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. Boy, the words are just not getting out of my mouth. Yeah, there's a lot of people driving around for this Sunday afternoon. It's 1:10 in the afternoon and we're heading to Penzance. And you're coming with me because I need to take my borrowed walking sticks back to the hospital. So we're going to go to the hospital where I got an x-ray for my foot, and we're going to take the walking sticks back because when you don't need them, you're supposed to return the equipment that you've borrowed. It's part of the NHS. You don't buy it off them, which is cool and it's good. There are some anxieties that I have. First of all, the traffic. It is tourist season, so a lot of the schools up country have in fact stopped for the summer, which means every man and their dog is now in Cornwall, and you can tell the ones from out of town because Cornish number plates, which stay with the car, Cornish number plates begin with W, and out-of-town plates begin with any other letter than W. Ones from London begin with L, one from Birmingham begin with B, and they will absolutely come up to a junction and put their foot on the gas. They don't know what a brake pedal is, so you've got to be very careful with out-of-towners. It is sort of misty raining as well. The car's just like, oh, it's a little bit misty, a little bit wet outside. So yeah, we haven't shrugged off the high humidity. But this whole trip is to do with a minor victory. It's a minor victory. This is a task that I could have put off, and probably could have put it off for several months. But once it is done, it's going to make me feel a little bit better. I can mentally check this task off in my head. And I've been doing that for most of the weekend. One of the things I did yesterday was a task that I have been needing to do for a while. You see, the toilet in my bathroom hasn't been flushing properly. You see. So you grab the handle and you go clonk, 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 and then eventually it starts to flush. And I'm like, what is going on? So I looked up a video on YouTube to see how a toilet works. And there's a British guy. I think the guy's a plumber. And he has a whiteboard and he has a toilet and he explains exactly how everything works. I'm like, oh, all right. So it turns out the diaphragm in the siphon, there's a paddle, and when you pull the handle, it pulls up this paddle in a box and it pushes some water over the top of a siphon, and through siphonic action, all the water in the toilet gets sucked out. And the diaphragm is part of the paddle. So as you pull the handle down, the paddle goes up and it pushes the water up and over the top. And then the water coming beyond that, after that, pushes the diaphragm out of the way because the paddle is essentially a mesh, and all the water passes through with the diaphragm pushed out of the way. And then once everything resets, the diaphragm lays flat against the paddle and the whole thing fills up and is ready for the next flush. So I put my hand in the toilet and I felt around and there's no diaphragm. I was like, oh, that thing's disappeared. Now you can just replace the diaphragm. It's not a problem. It's like a bit of PET plastic, similar to what you make plastic milk bottles out of. But I didn't know the manufacturer of the siphon because they have different holes punched in them. And I'm like, you know what? For an extra couple of quid, I could just replace the entire siphon. So I went on Amazon, ordered like for like, and it turned up and it had all the fittings with it. And I was like, this is a relatively simple job. This is a relatively simple job. This is something I've been putting off for a while. All I need to do is get a tool, and then I can do it. So I need a flat head screwdriver to turn the valve off, because next to the toilet is just like a valve that takes a flathead screwdriver, turns off the water pressure so you can work inside it without having water go everywhere. And then I needed a set of adjustable grips, and I don't own adjustable grips. I do own a demolition wrench, a Stanley Fat Max demolition wrench, which is one of my favourite tools, but that only opens up to 40 millimeters, and I needed one that opens up to 60 millimeters. So I went to the hardware store. I was like, you know what? I'll just drive to the hardware store. So I went to B&Q, which is Block and Quail in the United Kingdom, and I walked in and I looked at their tool section, and I was just like, oh, this doesn't help me at all. I had my tape measure with me, because if you're going to go to the hardware store, always take your own tape measure with you. And the trouble is they cable tie everything down, so it's on a bit of backing plastic, and I'm like, oh, I need to know how wide these open, and the information actually on the thing didn't tell me. So I went across the street. I was like, oh, whatever. They don't look very big anyway. So I went across the street to the automotive place. For us, that's Halfords, and I looked at their tool section, which was smaller because it's meant for cars. And again, adjustable pliers looked quite small. I'm like, you know, I'm just going to go home and order one off Amazon. So I did. Read a bunch of reviews, ordered one that opens up to the correct size, in fact, larger than correct size. Ordered it. It arrived next day, and then, so that was yesterday. And 20 minutes after I started the job, the siphon in the toilet was replaced, and I give it a flush, and it works perfectly. There's no leaks. There's no drama. So that's a little victory. That's a little victory that I can tick off, and it's actually one of those things, like, I've done it, but it's also super rewarding to do as well. So every time I go in there and I just crank the handle, one crank, and you've got authority. You can feel the authority on the handle, and you think, yeah, I did that. That was something I did, and it feels good. It's a little victory. It's not something that's hugely complex. It's something that anyone can do. And yeah, I've done that. So the siphon got done, and then yesterday I got a new graphics card, and I was like, ah, wonderful. Well, minor victory is not getting the new graphics card. That was expensive. That was very expensive, but hopefully it's going to help with things like editing times, because CUDA cores within the graphics card are used for video rendering when you're rendering a video. So I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe I just update some of the hardware in the computer to help with video editing. The thing that I did before doing the swap of the graphics card was, in fact, let's just navigate this roundabout. Yeah, we should be all right. We're good. Was in fact clean the inside of the computer. So all the removable filters got cleaned. All the mesh around the front got cleaned. The inside wasn't bad at all. The inside of the computer was fine. But I took the time to blow out the radiator on the back of the computer, because it has an all-in-one unit. So blew that out for any dust, checked the fans, made sure they were all free spinning. The graphics card that I removed was a 3060, and that was clean. Like, all of the metalwork inside it didn't have any dust on it, which is good. So yeah, if you have a computer case, I can wholly recommend having filters on it. That is absolutely brilliant. So yeah, did that. Updated the graphics drivers just as a precaution. Restarted everything, and yeah, everything's absolutely fine. Is it going to affect the games that we play? No, certainly not Unity games. Certainly not things like Stranded Deep. They are just going to be how they are. This person is really taking it easy. We're doing 48 miles an hour. I'm not entirely sure they know where they're going. So yeah, I did as another little task, run color calibration on the monitor, because I got a Spider X1. That didn't work. That did not work. Interesting use of his indicators, as in he didn't indicate. Yeah, so I color calibrated the monitor, and it went, we can't do this. And then it applied an old profile, and I'm like, okay, so that's something that I'm going to need to work out what's going on. I haven't been to this part of Penzance in a while. There's a kind of red coming up behind me. I'm going to not indicate here because I don't want to confuse those guys, but we need to be in this lane. because we need to go towards my old college, you see. We need to go towards my old college. And I'm not thrilled about that. My old college was a terrible place back in the day. But we will be driving past it in order to get to the hospital, so that's going to be interesting. Shopping zone, no cars, 11 to 4. Well, that's the shopping area. This Penzance is weird. They got pirates, the pirates of Penzance, but all they do is sing and dance about being a pirate. Where are we going? A30 is this one here. Got to keep an eye out to the right, because everyone just slams their foot on the accelerator like it is the like button. Okay, well, we go, we indicate, and then we indicate. Let me check. Yep. God damn, it's been a while since I've been up this road. Yeah, it's been a while. Oh wow, they've turned that area into a campsite. Wouldn't have thought. Interesting. So yeah, little victories. Sometimes you start a task and you can't complete it because of something beyond your control. You don't have the tools, or the computer says no. But quite often, the little tasks that you do are completable, and once you've done it, you just feel so much better about yourself. So much better about yourself. Even though it's something that anyone could have done. And in my experience, the jobs that you think, oh, it's going to take me forever, it's going to take me so long, it's going to be hours and hours and hours, Earth chum. And in fact, it usually takes about 20 minutes, and you're done, and you're just like, oh, was that it? That was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. So yeah, I do enjoy the minor victories, the little victories. And this will be one of them. Once we've handed the sticks back, I can say, right, well, that's a weight off my mind. Yeah, big old palm in the middle of that. No, it wasn't as big as it was when I was going to college. I think that's been there for all that time. They do last for a long old time. So, yeah. This road, by the way, if we stayed on it and rode it to its ultimate wherever, you'd end up at Land's End. We're only like 18 miles away from Land's End. So we're 18 miles away from the end of the country. The country literally stops at the end of this particular road. So it literally says Land's End, A30 up there, New Lane and Land's End. But we are going to turn here, I think. Yeah? It's been so long. When I was in college, I actually had my mum's motorbike, so I had a Honda Rebel 125 in red. You were stopping way short of the white lines. I'd be glad not to be behind the Dacia. Yeah, so what is this? I think this is a cemetery. I think. That's a primary school? Yep. And I think along here is a swimming pool. And then my college is somewhere to the left, around this corner. So fire station, and then college bus stop, which I never used because the lessons always stopped, and my college is just in this gate. It was a terrible college. And the hospital is just up ahead. That's the back of the hospital. Oh God, the road. All right, let's see if we can find a parking space. There's a lot of spaces here, or a lot of things here, but nowhere to actually park. And the entrance to the hospital, good. All right, well, is there a place I can park up here? Slow. Drop off only. Well, I'm gonna leave it here. I'm gonna see what the pay and display tariff actually is, and then I'm gonna drop the sticks off. It's literally gonna take 2 seconds. Delivery vehicles only. Yeah, this is very strange. All right, if you like this, definitely leave a little like, leave a subscribe. If you subscribe, click the little like button, click the bell, click the bell, click the bell, click the bell, and you'll get notifications. If you don't click the bell, you don't get notifications, and that's fine. And I'll catch you next time. What an interesting vlog you're doing. Do you always get stuck in traffic? Well, let me explain this one to you. Yes, sometimes you do get stuck in traffic. You get stuck in traffic, and then you end up talking to yourself. You see, as if you're as it's part of the war, you know. And everyone's like, "Oh, really?" And you're like, "Yes." Because all of this lot, they're trying to go home, you see. They're trying to go home, back to London and Birmingham and other places around the country. Unfortunately, nobody can drive, you see. Nobody can drive. They didn't actually get their driving licence the normal way. They got it from a box of cornflakes, you see. They got it from a box of cornflakes as like a present, like a gift. And it sort of came out in the cereal, you see. So what they do is they sort of drive around like an idiot, and they sort of get in the way. It's a bloody annoyance. It is. It's a bloody nuisance, I would say. Oh, look, a tractor! I can see a tractor in the distance. He's not going to come this way. They never come this way. They always go the other way. That's where the farms are, you see. This way is where all the ocean is, and you can't farm the water, you see. You can't farm the water. It's very, very difficult to farm the ocean. You need a boat. You can't use a tractor. You can't plant turnips on it. It's very difficult to plant turnips on the ocean itself. Very difficult indeed. If you tried it, I mean, we tried it during the war, you see. We tried it during the war. It would confuse the Germans. They'd be like, oh, we're flying over the ocean. We want to bomb London, but it appears that somebody planted a load of turnips here. And basically, the German bombers would get very confused indeed, and they would go home and they would say, well, we couldn't find London. There was just a bunch of turnip fields and tractors. And the high command would be like, well, no, that's supposed to be water. That's all the ocean, you see. And the Germans, yeah, they're very confused. It was very clever, but we lost a lot of tractors that way. They kept sinking to the ocean floor, and it was like, oh, well, what are you going to do? It's wartime. You just lose them. You just lose them to the ocean floor. That's just something that happens.